Hey there! Today we're going to tackle a puzzle that, shows up on the calendar every single year. The 40 Days of Lent. It seems pretty straightforward, but as you're about to see, there's a really fascinating twist hidden right there in the dates.
Okay, so here's the heart of the puzzle. If you actually count the days from Ash Wednesday all the way to Holy Saturday, right before Easter, you get 46 days, not 40. So what's going on? Where do those extra 6 days come from? Well, spoiler alert, it is not a mistake. The answer is actually part of a very deliberate, very thoughtful design.
To solve this little mystery, we first need to understand the official rules of the road for Lent. Think of these as the foundational pieces of our puzzle. It all really boils down to two key practices, both designed for a season of spiritual preparation.
First things first, we got to clear up something that a lot of people get mixed up. The words fasting and abstinence. We kind of use them interchangeably sometimes, but in this context, they mean two completely different things. Fasting is all about limiting the quantity of food you eat. Abstinence, on the other hand, is about avoiding a specific type of food.
So let's break down fasting. Officially, this applies to adults between the ages of 18 and 59, and the rule is pretty specific. 1 full meal for the day, plus 2 smaller meals that, if you were to combine them, wouldn't add up to another full meal. And this is only required on 2 specific days, Ash Wednesday, the very start of Lent, and Good Friday, at the very end.
Now for abstinence. This one starts a little earlier, at age 14, and the focus is simple. No meat. But pay attention to the timing here. It applies on Ash Wednesday and Good Friday, just like fasting, but and this is a big one, it also applies on every single Friday during Lent. Okay, so we've got the rules of penance down, but that still doesn't explain our 46-day count, does it? To get there, we need the key, the single most important clue that unlocks this entire puzzle, and it has everything to do with Sundays. And here it is, the core principle that changes everything. In Christian theology, every single Sunday is considered a little Easter, a weekly celebration of the resurrection. It's fundamentally a day of joy, not a day of penance. And this is the crucial point. You can't have a day of solemn penance and a day of joyful celebration at the exact same time. It just doesn't work. The celebration of the little Easter on Sunday basically overrides the penitential spirit of Lent. This means the Lenten disciplines are suspended on Sundays. They just don't count as days of penance.
And this idea is pretty consistent. It doesn't just apply to Sundays. It also applies to what are called solemnities. These are the highest-ranking feast days, so if a huge celebration like the Feast of St. Joseph happens to fall on a Friday during Lent, the feast day takes precedence and the Lenten obligations for that day are lifted.
All right, we have all the pieces now. We have the rules of penance, and we have the master key. Sundays are not included. So now, let's finally do the math. And honestly, the calculation is super simple. We start with the total number of calendar days, which is 46. Then we just count up the number of Sundays that fall in that period, those 6 little Easters. And since those days are celebrations, not days of penance, we just subtract them from the total.
And there it is, 40. 40 days of penance perfectly calculated. It was never a mistake or some kind of an approximation. It's an intentional structure built on a really clear theological principle. The puzzle is solved.
But solving the math just leads to a bigger question. We know how we get to 40, but why that specific number? It's not random at all. In fact, the number 40 is one of the most significant numbers in the entire biblical story.
Throughout Scripture, any time the number 40 shows up, it consistently represents a period of testing, of transformation, of getting ready for something big. Think about Moses on the mountain for 40 days. The Israelites wandering in the desert for 40 years. And, most importantly for Lent, Jesus fasting for 40 days in the desert to prepare for his public ministry. Lent is designed to mirror that exact spiritual journey.
So what starts as what looks like a simple counting problem reveals itself to be this deeply symbolic structure, connecting a modern practice all the way back to these ancient stories. It leaves us with a final question to think about. How do these ancient structures and symbolic numbers hidden in our calendars continue to create real meaning in our lives today?